a writer for Scary Mommy, opened up about a time that she was shamed by a stranger for being on her phone instead of actively playing with her kids at the playground. Now, she argues that playgrounds are for kids to play with other kids, not for the parents. All right, audience already has their opinion. All right, so do you think parents should play with their kids at the playground? Wow, okay. Wow. All right, parents.
Okay, I love this topic because I agree. I agree with all of you. I think the majority of you. Number one, I'm going to make an admission here on TV. You know, parents often will say that they had different ages or phases of their kids' lives that they enjoyed more than others. Mm-hmm. I did not enjoy the playing part of playing. I didn't like it. I'm sorry to admit it, but I was never the parent that played. Mm-hmm. It was always Ryan was the one who played. So I'm not ashamed to admit that. So obviously in the playground, no, I'm not up in there in the sandbox with Marqueza. Mm-hmm. I also do believe the element of this is there's two things happening here. Yes, a lot of parents are on their phone too much. That's true. Mm-hmm. But the other part of that is sometimes, especially mom, also needs a break for a minute. Mm. And if the playground is the place that you say, okay, it's a safe environment, there's other kids. I have one child. She needs to be with other children. If that's the moment that I can go, and she's okay, don't judge me. I think it's totally fine. I think it's totally fine.
All right, what do you think, Kate?
I think about this a lot. I have a 3- and a 6-year-old, and I spend a lot of time at playgrounds. I think what irked me the most about this article is it was this woman yapping too loudly, shaming the mother who's on her phone. And I think in that moment, she's making an awful lot of assumptions about what that mother's doing on that phone. She may be scrolling Instagram or TikTok, and guess what? She's allowed, if that's how she wants to parent and take a break. She may also have been doing things like pre-ordering groceries, buying a gift for an upcoming children's birthday party, making dentist appointments, actively trying to manage the emotional and actual labor of a household, while also watching her children and getting them outside so they're not on screens. So I think we should stop making assumptions about what mothers are doing on their phones. But I also think another part of the problem here, and you touched on it, Mel, is when I was growing up, my parents sent me out the door and I could go to the park by myself, but that's because there were other children at the park for me to play with. Now, in my experience, that's not the case. There isn't that same collective, that same community. And
the village is gone.
The village is gone. So there is part of me that thinks, you know what? Maybe sometimes I should put down my phone and play with my kids, in part because there aren't other kids for them to play with. And at the end of my life, you know what I'm not gonna say? I'm not gonna be sitting there being like, you know what I should have spent more time on? Instagram Reels.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, I'm probably gonna think I should have spent time playing with my kids.
Yeah. You know what I wish? I wish that woman had said that to you. She would have got it. Like, you picked the wrong mom.
Were you at the playground lots?
I did. Well, obviously, only child. And I did find, even though some of it was boring, I was aware time would pass by quickly. So I tried to make the best of like the sandbox, which is a boring place, let's be honest. But I had to feel interactive because also moms can't win these days. Because if you're there and you kind of take your eyes off and the kids start fighting with each other or like interacting with one another, and if you intervene, you're considered over controlling. If you pull back and you don't do anything, then other parents are starting to judge, like, why aren't you dealing with your kid? Come and get your kid.
Sure.
So we do live in a different generation of parenting where I just feel like it's the moms always who are the ones that end up being judged, and then moms are judging each other. So like, I don't know how this routine
and where
stops
are the fathers
going
in
on.
all of this?
Well, some of them are there. I don't want to. I don't want to say that. That's fair.
Question.
In fairness, there are a lot more dads. I do want to say that there are a lot more dads.
There's also a cultural component to this. You know, I read a lot about and have relatives in Europe where the parents are not only not playing with the kids in the playground, they do still have a little bit of the free range parenting happening over there, which is kind of let the kids be kids. But in that, we talked about this, was it yesterday's show with the helicopter parenting or a few days ago, where there is the helicopter parenting where you feel like you need to be involved in every movement that your child is having. The flip side of that is the way that we were raised, we did not have access to our parents 24/7.
No.
There was a time when they said, leave me alone. And you had to be on your own. So I think there was
we also trusted other
with that.
parents in the village to parent our kids, right?
Yeah.
And we don't want that anymore. I remember there was one time I was actually at the park and there was this little kid who was on top of a rock. And I saw the kid and they seemed small. I don't know where the parent was. I wasn't judging the parent, but the kid was like, I gotta get off. And so I picked up the kid and then the mom came out of nowhere and she was looking at me like, what are you doing with my kid? And so like there's this kind of like we have all learned to mistrust each other. And that's also part of the problem.
I think part of it's just a quick solution that I came across is parents stepping off collectively. There's a town in California and they've arranged in the community Friday nights from 3 to 5 p.m. All the parents drop off their kids at a certain park and leave. And I think that is a genius idea.
What ages?
The age is said between like 4 and 10, but I love that. You know there's gonna be kids there. You can
If I was traveling to the States, I would go there.
Me too.
But I'm not.
You know what?
But I'm not.
Hey, you, come a bit closer. We've got so many more must-see interviews, spicy debates, lifestyle tips, and pop culture moments. So subscribe to our channel by tapping the logo below and don't miss out.